Welcome to a April reading vlog on Actual Spinster. My name is Anna Marie, blah blah blah. I feel like I have to say that now. It's also a way to like begin a video for me, so I have decided to kind of change maybe a little bit the way that I'm making reading vlogs. Yeah, maybe you'll be able to tell, I don't know, we'll see. Hopefully this will be maybe a bit shorter than my others, and yeah, I mean, I just sort of feel like they're very laborious for me to make and my laptop is struggling, so if I can make them a bit shorter that would be better. But yeah, so we're at the beginning of April, so I'm gonna do the usual here's what I'm reading and here's some things I'd maybe like to read next chat. So there's 3 books. There's 3 books I'm currently reading right now. One of them is in this ginormous book. Yeah, but we won't start with that one. We'll start with The Little Virtues by Natalia Ginzburg, translated from the Italian by Dick Davis. I have read almost half of this. It's split into 2 parts and I've almost read one part. It's a collection of essays. And obviously some of them are really like amazing and some of them are not. The ones I've enjoyed so far, I mean, honestly I thought Winter in the Abruzzi was literally like one of the best. Like, it's 10 pages but it's just phenomenal, like a phenomenal piece of writing in terms of like memory, and it's just so good. Like, I'd really recommend it. Worn Out Shoes was also pretty good. I like Portrait of a Friend. There are 2 about England in part 1, which were fairly critical of England, which was fair enough, but I also found it a little bit repetitive. But it was also interesting to kind of, because this was like a criticism of like 1960s England, so that was also interesting to read from a historical perspective. And then yeah, I haven't, well actually I've begun He and I, and yeah, it's okay. It's about her second husband, I believe. I'm looking forward to reading more. There's one in the second part that I'm really looking forward to, which is all about writing, like her writing. It's called My Vocation. And then of course The Little Virtues I think will be interesting as well, because that's what this collection is named after, so I imagine it will be important because it was important thematically. The other book that I'm currently reading is Dangerous Ages by Rose Macaulay. I haven't read this for a while. I think I did start in February, like right at the end of it, and then in March I didn't read any of it. I couldn't find any of my overlays which really help with my reading, except from this little cut-off bit, so I have found some more again, so I probably will use those to read this. The text is pretty close together, so that hasn't been sort of encouraging me to pick it out. But yeah, now that I have found, I think I have a pink one on my desk somewhere. But yeah, I don't know where my others went. Like, I think I must have put them in books and then shelved those books back on my shelf. So maybe I'll discover some more when I just randomly open a book. And then the final book that I'm reading is coming from this one. This is, well, this book is The Books of Earthsea. The complete illustrated edition by Ursula K. Le Guin. It's really lovely. But from the Earthsea like cycle, the Earthsea books, I'm reading the final one, The Other Wind. Yeah, so that there is, it's kind of hard to show you really. Maybe I'll just film it in a different perspective at some point. There are some really lovely illustrations in this. There are like a couple other pieces of writing that are published in this book altogether. There's like a description of Earthsea, which I'm not going to read. There's 4 stories in the back as well, which are like not in a collection, they're just separate. So there's The Word of Unbinding, The Rule of Names, The Daughter of Odrin, and Firelight. All of them I want to read, not like majorly, but obviously I might just keep, if once I finish The Other Wind I might just finish them, I don't know. And then there's also just like the words from a lecture that Ursula K. Le Guin presented at the very end as well, which is revisiting Earthsea. So yeah, I'm like a chapter in so far, and I'm just like enjoying it so much. Like, I just love the world. I suppose I love the way that Ursula K. Le Guin creates the world. I like the intention with which she puts into the world. Yeah, like the care and intention, and it's like simple, but it's very clear. I was honestly, having been reading all of this like Natalia Ginzburg, I kind of feel like she's in the like Ginzburg school of simplistic writing, but managing to just like say a lot and also be very like vivid and meaningful, and like, yeah, and then Ursula K. Le Guin I think is very careful and also curious about humanity and people's relationships and like the groundedness of being a human and yeah, like living with other people. I don't know, I just love it. I love it so much. So yeah, I'm really enjoying that. So I'm hoping I'm probably going to finish that fairly quickly. I do have quite a lot of plans for this month, but also I guess like spring in general, but then I also do have like a deadline, so like this month, so you know, I'm trying to be chill. It's obviously not working, but 2 books that I do want to read this month: Family Lexicon by Natalia Ginzburg, translated by Jenny McPhee. This is part of the read along where I'm also reading, even though I'm actually behind, still reading this, but whatever, The Little Virtues. I'd also like to get to Science for Lost Children, kind of as part of the TBR Clear Out readathon that Katie is hosting. I mean, this I think would also count for that because I have had it, well, maybe not. I think I got this in 2023 actually, so it's kind of, I mean, it's on my TBR, but like not for that long, whereas this one is pretty old. It's been on my TBR for at least like 5 years, 6 years, I don't know. I'd like to read something that I like brought back from New York with me, maybe Siren Queen, it's up there now. And also I would like to read this purple one, but I think that's, you know, maybe I'll start reading that this month, who knows. That is the end of April, not the end of April, but the end of August by Yu Miri, which is on the short list for the Republic of Consciousness Prize. Yeah, okay, I think that's everything for this update, and like I said, maybe I won't talk that much in this one, we'll see. Famous last words. Okay.
The people of Hamburg had stoutly ordered the new palace all through the long century. The merchants had been in aisles in their first joy of having a king, and laws again to protect them. So he'd been able to make the new palace new again, and splendid. But the throne room, once the beam ceiling. Surely that was significant.
I'm here for a quick update, eating a bit of cereal. I'm not sure if I am going to end my vlog here, I guess we'll just see. Before, I guess, like, I get into the really, like, final crunch days of this deadline I have on the 26th of April, I thought I would just do, like, a brief kind of check-in with what I've read, and what I'm currently reading. Because I did finish The Little Virtues by Natalia Ginzburg. I didn't rate this collection, I don't believe, because I just didn't really know how to. Certainly some of them gave me a real insight into, like, Natalia Ginzburg as a writer, and also some of them were just, like, incredible, like, just sort of, like, yeah, incredible. But then others I really just did not particularly care for, and some of them I just kind of skim read. I wasn't really very interested. Then the other thing I finished was in this, I did not finish. I mean, I guess I've almost finished everything in this collection now. But anyway, the thing I finished was The Other Wind by Ursula K. Le Guin, which is the 6th book and the last book in the Earthsea series. There are a couple of like short stories that are included at the end of this, which I do hope to get to soon too, but I would say that I've finished the series and I loved it so much. It honestly transported me back to the feeling that I had like as a child, or like that I maybe remember having of reading, you know, something, getting lost totally in a world. And just like that pure ecstatic enjoyment and like pleasure of it. It was just so fantastic, and I definitely can understand and like see and think of criticism of the book and of the series and of Ursula K. Le Guin and stuff, but I just enjoyed it like so much. So yeah, that was just a lovely, beautiful experience for me. And then the two things that I am currently reading are Meanwood, by Nicola Griffith. I'm not very far in. Yeah, in fact, I'm very not far in. I'm like 30 pages in. But it's like enjoyable so far, and it's just as like captivating as I remember it being, or like in terms of the world, like very vivid and grounded. So that's great. And then this is what I'm hoping to finish next, because I'm 145 pages in and I have like less than 50 to go, of Family Lexicon by Natalia Ginzburg. And this, yeah, I'm enjoying this a lot. It's kind of amazing how like at the center of a lot of anti-fascist like stuff and production Natalia Ginzburg it was. And yeah, it's amazing and very sad at points and very interesting, and I'll definitely talk more about it when I'm finished. I love this cover. Casarati is who it's by, Casarati, yeah, and he's mentioned in the book, so it feels very apt, but I also think it's a really lovely painting. I guess I would be really interested to read this book again, translated not by an American, because I do think there's like a lot of Americanism within the translation, which is fine, like that's not, you know, but I would be interested to know how some of the words would be translated by like an English translator. British English is the word, I guess, I forgot that. Okay, I think that's yeah, I mean, part of me kind of wants to talk about my PhD work, but I don't think I will for now, so I'll just leave it there. I haven't like updated this. Oh, I'm gonna knit. I haven't updated this vlog. And like I was editing the clips together and stuff, and it doesn't really feel like a vlog, at least to me. Which like is fine. I mean, I'm gonna add this little update in, and clearly I kept going even though I said I might not, but I still feel like I haven't really spoken about my reading, and part of that is because I actually really like doing monthly wrap-ups, but then I also quite like doing reading vlogs, but I don't want to just be reiterating everything I'm saying twice in slightly different like context or something. So this was sort of a way to see if I could do a vlog and not talk that much in depth about the books I'm reading, and it would just be more like a kind of record of my time. But I don't know. I did just submit my writing, my work, so now I'm free. I'm gonna buy a bunch of Yiddish books as a treat to myself, because obviously I need more books. I'm sure I'll show them when they arrive. I bought one so far immediately, which is yeah. and then I've got my eye on a couple others. Yeah, I'm not really sure what I wanted to say. I'm happy to have submitted, and I guess I kind of also wanted to just like enjoy the freedom and the relief. This is the beret that I started knitting, or I was knitting like in a clip. I started knitting this only a couple days ago. It's been knitting up really quickly, and I'm on the final bit. I'm like just making the brim. I kind of wanted to finish it before so I could show you, but yeah, maybe I'll wait to post it, this like vlog, until I've done it, because I am like, I basically got like maybe less than 10 rows to go probably. I haven't finished a book in a while, partially because my deadline and work has just been taking precedent, and I've had to read like bits and bobs for that as well, so I don't feel like I have anything specific to say as like an update in terms of reading. It was interesting, I guess, to record some of my like actual working progress through clips. Not that I spoke that much directly to the camera, but so my PhD is a literature PhD, right? And like within that, it's obviously interested in history, like it's a historical PhD too, because yeah, the work I look at is from the past and not the recent past, but like about 100 years ago, a bit more and sometimes a bit less depending. So obviously history as a practice and like a methodology is something I'm interested in, to say nothing of the like leftist dimensions of the work I look at, and then also my own approach to stuff, like in terms of kind of Marxist frameworks and literary criticism. But like, so like obviously I have most of the time before my PhD been writing literary, historical and political essays, but I've never done it with such an intense focus on the politics before. And to be honest, I feel like this most recent piece, or like one of the reasons why I struggled a lot with it is because I was at first trying to not let myself just go into the political history dimension, and try to like keep a rein on the literary aspect. And there is still a literary aspect. I'm looking at texts, but I did just like decide to go, okay, maybe I'm doing an English literature PhD that's actually about political history, and like a history of an idea and the development of socialist feminism. And then when I did let myself do that, it actually felt so much easier to write because I knew what I wanted to say, and like it, so that was like an interesting process. And so I have like a panel in about it depends, but like within a month's time from now, and I am gonna like bring that up at the panel and kind of maybe talk about where I stand interdisciplinarily, because I don't think I don't think I'm going into this in the same position that I thought I was, I guess, because I don't think my PhD is quite as, or at least this aspect of what I've been focusing on, which is periodicals, I don't think I'm looking at it with the same literary focus as I thought and as I've previously written. To be honest, my PhD is like a lot of things, at least like the first year and a half, 2 years, like year and a half more, like has basically just been me doing stuff that I've never done before, which is certainly interesting. It makes sense as to why like the first year especially was so difficult, but like I'd never done any periodical studies before, and obviously I'd never done a PhD before, so there was all of that acclimatizing to do, but also just like literally the like discipline that I was like, this is what my PhD is going to be focused on, at least as a part of it. I will be returning to book and book texts, which I am really looking forward to, but yeah, so I just decided that that meant I also had to kind of like catch up on a discipline that like I'd never focused on before. And then of course this whole like political history aspect, which again isn't something that I specifically worked on before. Luckily, I guess, because I am like a dork and I personally am interested in like feminist and leftist theory and history, I feel like I am still fairly coherent, or like able to be coherent, and like, it's not the word exactly I was looking for, that I am able to articulate stuff, writing from a political history perspective, or to a political history perspective, doesn't feel as like I needed to with periodicals, where I was like, okay, I need to do kind of like a survey of the field and try to read like key texts that maybe can tell me a bit about the state of the discipline and like blah blah blah. Because like with political history, I was already engaged in feminism, feminist politics, both practically and also theoretically, academically, but also just like in a general way. And that's also why it felt really nice to write that piece that I just wrote, and like just to write it how I wanted to write it ultimately. Because, you know, I have discussions basically like that all the time with my friends, and we think, you know, I think a lot about mobilizing women and, yeah, the space women have on the left for feminist and feminized politics and experiences, and the difficulties and the beauty and the solidarity. So yeah, anyway, I'm getting all embarrassed, so I'm gonna like stop now. Let me know what you felt about this vlog, or if you just do not care at all. And yeah, I'll talk to you when I next talk to you, and I hope you had a nice April and in the circumstances, and yeah, bye.